staffed our operations center to monitor the activities at all the plants that were potentially affected by this earthquake. The automatic reactor shutdown of both units at North Anna was the only automatic shutdown as a result of this event. North Anna also declared an alert based upon the activities at North Anna. In addition to the alert, there were 12 operating reactors that declared an unusual event and 2 research test reactors that declared an unusual event. However, North Anna was the only plant to experience any actual impact from the earthquake. Since the earthquake, the NRC has conducted a number of inspections and has ongoing technical reviews and inspections underway. The initial inspection had to do with the licensee's immediate response to the event, and the ongoing technical reviews will form the basis for any decision regarding restart. That in coordination with the special inspections being conducted by regional and headquarters staff. Bottom line is that the NRC will not authorize restart until we are satisfied that the plant can be operated while protecting public health and safety. So with that, I will turn the presentation over to Vic.
Thanks, Bill. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. When the earthquake occurred on the afternoon of August the 23rd, the senior resident inspector for North Anna was in the control room observing activities there. So he was strategically positioned to observe the plant and operator response to the earthquake. Another NRC inspector who specialized in emergency preparedness was also on site at the time of the earthquake and assisted in the response. When the agency entered the monitoring mode shortly after the event, the resident inspectors were key to the effectiveness of communications when the Region 2 Incident Response Center as well as the Headquarters Operations Center were staffed. Later on August the 23rd, Region 2 dispatched an additional inspector to the site to assist in inspections being conducted by the residents. Also, seismologists and structural experts from the Office of Nuclear Reactor Regulation, the Office of New Reactors were also directed to the site within days of the event. Immediately following the event, it was uncertain whether the ground motion from the earthquake had exceeded the plant's design. However, the U.S. Geological Survey data, based upon that, we determined that the best estimate of the peak ground acceleration at North Anna may have exceeded the safe shutdown earthquake ground motion design limits of 0.12 G for structure system and components SSCs located on top of rock and 0.12 G for SSCs located on top of soil. As a result of that, and because of the heightened risk associated with the loss of offsite power and the malfunctioning of one of the 4 emergency diesel generators, an augmented inspection team was formed and dispatched to the site to better understand the circumstances of the earthquake and Dominion's response. The AIT team was led by an experienced region supervisor who's here today, Mark Franke, and included 4 inspectors from Region 2 and 3 experts from NRR and NRO. The team possessed significant technical expertise covering seismology, structural engineering, operations, as well as electrical engineering. The AIT was tasked to collect facts related to a number of areas, including human and plant performance in response to the event, ground motion strength experienced at the site, the condition of the plant following the earthquake, and any safety or generic issues. The team's findings were communicated to the licensee during a public meeting on October the 3rd near the site. During the meeting, we informed Dominion as well as members of the public who were there of the results of the inspection. In the area of human and plant performance, when the earthquake occurred, the plant systems responded automatically to shut down both units, and all safety systems functioned as designed. All 4 emergency diesel generators did start as required and powered emergency buses when off-site power was lost. A 5th backup diesel also automatically started in the standby mode. When the 2 Hotel, one of the emergency diesel generators experienced a cooling jacket water leak, plant operators shut it down and aligned the standby diesel to power the associated emergency safety bus. North Anna operators responded to the event in accordance with established procedures and in a manner that protected public health and safety. As for the ground motion at the site, based on seismic ground motion monitoring equipment at North Anna, the ground motion, as you heard from Mr. Graycheck and Mr. Heacock, did exceed the licensing design basis at some frequencies. Following the earthquake, as Mr. Heacock and Graycheck mentioned, Dominion walked down and conducted inspections of plant structures and systems and performed functional tests in accordance with the EPRI guidelines. The AIT observed some of Dominion's inspections and conducted a number of independent walkdowns of the plant. The team also reviewed Dominion's tests and evaluations of important equipment, and based on those walkdowns and reviews, significant damage to plant equipment was not apparent. Some equipment issues were revealed as a result of the event. As, again, Mr. Graycheck described, I won't go into those details again, but there was minimal damage to several non-safety related structures. The seismic ground motion caused movement of spent fuel storage casks, as was noted. The team also identified two potential generic issues that are being evaluated for generic applicability. The first has to do with the location of monitoring equipment. The instruments are located in plant buildings as opposed to being directly in the ground, free field detectors. So the earthquake motion experienced in the building may be different than what's experienced on the ground. Because the plant design is based on a certain ground motion, locating the instruments in a building may not provide the best indication of whether actual ground motion exceeded design. Secondly, the team noted that some functions of an important earthquake monitoring panel failed during the event, and Mr. Graycheck mentioned that, the kinematics system, and the panel's power supply did not maintain power at the panel alarms during the event. Also, some performance issues were noted with the Engdahl scratch plate recording system. At this point, I'll turn it over to Eric Leeds.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you, Vic. Good morning. The regulatory requirements governing this event are delineated in 10 CFR Part 100 Appendix A, as we heard previously from the licensee. It states if vibratory ground motion exceeds that of the operating basis earthquake, shutdown of the nuclear power plant is required. Obviously, that occurred. The operating basis earthquake is approximately half of that of the safe shutdown or design basis earthquake. The regulations also state that prior to resuming operations, the licensee is required to demonstrate to the NRC that no functional damage has occurred to those features necessary for continued operation without undue risk to the health and safety of the public. And as the chairman noted at the beginning, the regulatory decision to approve restart rests with me, the director of the Office of Nuclear Reactor Regulation. Next slide, please. As you can see from the licensee's presentation, the regulatory review guidance that the staff is following was actually established in the late 1990s. That was Reg Guide 1.167, restart of a nuclear power plant shut down by a seismic event, which endorses the EPRI guidance that has been referred to, guidelines for nuclear plant response to an earthquake. The EPRI document also provides guidance on what to do if the plant exceeds its design basis earthquake. In addition to this guidance, staff is also incorporating operating experience that have occurred since this guidance was published. The July 2007 earthquake at the Kashiwazaki Karawa nuclear power plant in Japan, that plant actually experienced a 6.6 magnitude earthquake, which was beyond that plant's design basis. And the lessons learned from that event were published in an International Atomic Energy Agency Safety Report number 66. In addition to using operating experience, the staff is also utilizing its experience on changes that have been made to these plants since the time frame that we established this guidance. A notable issue has to do with fuel design. There have been changes in fuel design, and that's one of the things the staff asked the licensee to review, and that's why we've done a very thorough audit of the fuel in the Unit 2 reactor at North Anna. As you heard from Vic and you've heard from the licensee, significant level of staff effort is being placed on this initiative. Almost every technical branch in the Office of Nuclear Reactor Regulation is involved in the review, with coordination from the other offices such as Region 2, the Office of Research, and the Office of New Reactors. The reviews are in progress. However, to date, the staff has not identified any significant issues. Key technical areas of the review have included the reactor vessels and internals, the reactor fuel, instrumentation, all-site power, piping and associated supports such as snubbers and hangers, pumps and valves, and steam generators. The overall review and evaluation will assess the scope and adequacy of the licensee's inspections, walk-downs, surveillance testing, and evaluations. The reviews are also being informed by the results of the inspections that VIX folks are doing down at the plant. Next slide, please. The inspection is still in progress. Region 2 is leading that inspection with support from NRR, from research, and from New Reactors. NRR staff is providing feedback to the region and the inspectors regarding the confirmatory walkdowns in order to obtain reasonable assurance that the structure systems and components are functional. The inspection team is focusing on corrective action follow-up, the licensee's evaluation of the current plant condition, and review of actions required to support startup. As discussed by Dominion, the EPRI guidance identified pre-startup, short-term, and post-startup, longer-term activities based on the overall EPRI damage intensity observed at the plant. The licensee indicated that North Anna experienced a damage state intensity of 0, and but they are taking a more conservative tack in implementing actions for damage state 1. In evaluating the licensee's short-term actions to date, the NRC inspection team has not identified any damage that would indicate a higher damage state. The inspection has not been completed, however, and there are several outstanding issues that the staff has continued to evaluate. The NRC's Restart Readiness Inspection Team has identified a number of value-added issues. Just a couple examples for the Commission. One of those is inspections of the reactor vessel supports were not originally conducted by the licensee, neither for the event or the in-service inspection requirements of the ASME code. So the licensee is going back and conducting those. Also based on a large number of observations by the inspectors, the licensee is assessing the need to re-perform certain portions of inspections at walk-downs that have been completed. Now going to the next slide, a moment on our path forward. As you just heard, the staff is conducting our safety review in accordance with established acceptance criteria. The review is ongoing. The technical review will confirm that the restart decision is in accordance with Appendix A to Part 100 requirements. The staff plans to issue a safety evaluation that will comprehensively address all the staff review activities. The restart decision will include the staff assessment of reasonable assurance for the structure systems and components functionality and the licensee's commitments to perform walkdowns and analyses during the heat-up and power ascensions to ensure the functionality of those structure systems and components. The public has expressed a great interest in this event. We had significant public attendance at our September 8th meeting here in White Flint and at the augmented inspection team exit at the site on October 3rd. That meeting was held about in the afternoon in the middle of the week, and approximately 200 people attended that meeting. Both Vic and I were in attendance at that public meeting. Because of the public interest in the event, we plan to hold another public meeting in the vicinity of the site to discuss the status of the review and the status of our work to date. That public meeting is currently scheduled for November 1st. Next slide, please.